Okay, hello everyone. Hello George. Welcome to the webinar of AST Arab Academy for Science and Technology here in Egypt, Alexandria. Today we have Mirna as a guest speaker. She is a member of Global Shaper, Alexandria Hub and Climate Reality Leaders. And we would like to welcome our participants. George, you can introduce the participants and the projects that we are participating on.
Okay, thank you very much, Nermin. Welcome everyone. We had a couple of weeks of a break, but Project R continues with a series of webinars. And Mirna is our next speaker who's going to talk about a very interesting topic, which is about waste management or a new approach on how we regard waste. Hopefully the video recording will be available soon on YouTube, and when our students come in September, they will find out new approaches on how they approach this part of daily life. It is very important for us to state that this is one of the key topics in Project ARC. And last but not least, we will be announcing soon that probably we will be having some kind of presence in Glasgow in November as part of the COP26 conference, and hopefully we will be able to disseminate all the webinars and the lovely activities we had as part of this British Council funded project. So Mirna, obrigado for attending and presenting today. This is one of my two Portuguese words that I know, apart from bom dia. And
you're doing very well.
So without any further ado, the floor is yours. Please share any presentation slides you have, and I'm going to mute myself. And we will not be interrupted. We will be coming with questions at the end of your session. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. First of all, thank you for inviting me to participate in this talk. As Nermin knows, I was very, very nervous to do this talk. She was actually sending me messages like, relax, calm, be calm. Everybody's here cheering on. You're wonderful. So actually, I hope I will be up to the expectations. And so I'm gonna share my the slides I created. Oh, the host has to allow me to share my screen, please. So there's a setting where the host allows the participants to share their screen, and it's disabled right now. So I need it to be allowed to share my screen.
Actually, Nermin, as a host, you need to make Mirna as a host.
I made you a host, dear. You can double check. Yeah, you can.
Yes, I just got it. Thank you so much. All right, so let me share here. Okay, so can everybody see my my screen? Yes? Okay, great. So we are today going to talk about evaluating our consumption habits and how to reduce waste. So before I start my talk, I'm going to present a bit about myself. My name is Mirna. I'm from Brazil. I'm a biologist, and I also have a master's degree in ecology. Both of them, I got them in Brazil. And I've been living in Egypt for the past 2 years, and I'm here. I'm part of the Global Shapers community. And the Global Shaper community is a network of young people that wish to make a difference in their society and community. And I'm also a climate reality leader. So I was trained by former US Vice President Al Gore to talk about the climate crisis that we are right now. And I have great news for anybody that wants to maybe talk about climate, but feels that maybe that person is not really up to standard and feels doesn't have that much information. So if you want to be also a climate reality leader and be trained by former US Vice President Al Gore, you can actually register now to also become a climate reality leader for the training that's going to happen for this year. So after my webinar, don't do it during, after, run there, sign up, tell your friends about it, and you'll get all the information and a network of support. So you also can be confident and talk about the climate crisis, because we need to do something now. So let's go back to the topic that we're talking about. So right here, I have an image, and I think the chat is on. So I would like for you to write, what do you see in this image? Let's see, what do you all see in this image? Don't be shy, there are no right or wrong answers. I want your eyes as a consumer. What do you see in this image?
Seems to be a mango.
Yeah.
A mango.
Packed in Thailand.
Yes.
Yeah, so close. It's yellow, but it's not a mango. It's peaches.
Okay.
It's from Greece, but it was packed in Thailand. So I was never very good at geography. So if you are like me, this is the world map. And Greece is somewhat around this black circle, and Thailand is around this red area. And if you put a straight line between these two countries, you're going to get around 7,976 kilometers. And if you think in miles, you're going to get around 4,966 miles, which is a lot. Imagine that all of us loved beaches. You know, I'm now in Egypt. Some of you may be in Brazil, in the USA, in other parts of the world. Imagine that everybody got their peaches that way. Is this a sustainable thing to do? Can our world keep up with these consumption habits that we have? As of right now, we are 7.9 billion people on this planet Earth, and it's expected that by 2030, we will be 8.5 billion people. 8.5 billion people that will need water, that will need land, that will need food, and will need energy from this earth. And if we keep the consumption habits as we have them today to keep up with the society, what is expected, we are, as of this year, needing not one, not two, but 1.7 Earths to give us everything we need. And does it seem like we can keep up this rate? Does it seem like the Earth will be able to give us everything we need? It's not. So we're consuming 174% of the planet's available biological resources. And if you are like this bunny, it's like, say what? Math is not my thing. I think a picture is much better. So here we have what is called the Earth's Overshoot Day. It's when we finish the biological resources that the Earth has for us within a year. And if you see in this red marks, it's showing us that we are consuming even more and the resources are finishing earlier and earlier in the year. And in 2020, something interesting happened. Because of the COVID crisis, the economy was not being able to keep its door open. A lot of factories had to close down and we weren't consuming like we are used to. So in 2020, we actually pushed back a month in the Earth's Overshoot Day. And everybody was really happy. I remember seeing the news, oh, look at the dolphins are swimming in rivers they never swum before. The Earth is thriving again. Everybody was really, really happy about this aspect of what was happening. But now we are pretty much in pre-COVID levels where we didn't take this chance to evaluate what we can do different. We just continue as it is. And I know this also can seem a bit hard to understand. And I know that sometimes, I don't know, this webinar can be shown to a younger audience or an older audience or people that don't understand statistics that well. So I want to make this really, really simple that everybody can understand. So imagine that the Earth is like a cell phone. And this cell phone can only be charged once a year. And you know exactly what you need to do, how much social media you can use, how much calls you can use. But then you found out about Netflix and you started watching a series that's amazing. You started binge watching this series and you started consuming more of the energy that's in your cell phone. And when you get through to July, the energy is finished. And by August till December, you don't have anything anymore and you can't take away. So this is what we're doing to our Earth. And because of the way we are treating our Earth, the IPCC report, which the International Panel on the Climate Crisis, is telling us that this has been the hottest year in 142 years. There's so many fires around the world, like the one that just happened now in Turkey and in Greece. There's so much rain happening, for example, in Japan, hurricanes, and it seems like the world is condemned. We're doomed. And before you curl up in your bed and cry and say, I can't do anything, I'm not able to do anything, I'm just one person. Well, I'm here to tell you there is something you can do. We need to move the date. So move the date is a movement so that we as a society think about how we are using our planet. Is our energy sustainable? Are we allowing the nature to thrive? Are our cities smart and sustainable? How are we feeding ourselves? Are there family planning happening? So this started in 2006 when they started registering when we were consuming the Earth's renewable resources. And in 2015, the SDGs came out, which are the Sustainable Development Goals, which are 17 goals that it is expected that if we follow them and we reach our targets, by 2030, everybody will live a prosperous life and a peaceful one. But as we are seeing right now, we're not going the right track. In my talk today, I want to focus on the SDG 12, the responsible consumption production. And if you are a teacher or maybe you want to talk a bit more about this subject or even understand a bit more, I really recommend this YouTube video. This channel is amazing, Sustainable Illustrated, and especially this one because it breaks down the SDGs in a very nice and easy way that you can use for you to understand or maybe use it in the classroom. So today I want to talk about something that nobody actually talks about that much, which is that a third of the world's food is never eaten. Imagine that you're having that family night and you order a pizza, but you cut that pizza in three parts and 1/3 of it, you just feed it to the garbage bin. That is what's happening all over the world right now. You're paying for your food and 1/3 of it, you just throw it away. And this is responsible for 8% of all greenhouse gas emissions. In 2015, they found out that if food waste was its own country, it will be the third largest polluter. So it's something that we really need to think about. Where is our food going? Are we feeding it to the bin or are we doing something with it? So today I'm going to focus more on food because sometimes we feel too little and we feel, oh, I'm not a president to do something. I'm not a decision maker, but you are the president of your own house. So let's talk about some tips on how to not waste food. In some countries, there are the use by and best before dates. I haven't seen here in Egypt, but I might be wrong. But in many countries, there are these two labels. Use by is do not eat after this date. So normally it's for eggs, meat, these type of products that you should never eat after this date because it can cause you harm. But the best before means that if you eat it afterwards, it's not going to be its best quality, but you can eat a chocolate a month after it's expired, the best before date. You can eat cornflakes. It might be a bit soggy, but you can still eat it. That date of the best before, if you eat after, doesn't mean it's toxic. It just means that it's not going to be in its best quality. Now, something that every household has is we cook and there's leftovers, or we open up a can of something and we didn't use all of it. So what happens is normally in the end of the month when you didn't get paid yet and you're going around your fridge looking for something to eat, you end up finding these things in the back of the fridge. Then you look at it, it's like, oh, I don't know what this is, and you throw away. So instead of putting it anywhere in your fridge or in your pantry, you should get this food and put it right in front of you where your eyes can see it, because you can use this food or whatever you opened up and use it first before you open up another one or make other food. For example, if you made rice, right, and you have leftover rice, the next day, if you don't want to eat rice, you can make a burrito with it, for example. You already have the cooked rice, so everything's really quickly. It takes around 20 minutes to make it. So you have to think about how to use what's already there before you open up something new. Another thing that researchers found is that we spend around 5 hours, an average household spends around 5 hours just going to buy your groceries. And one of the hassles of doing the groceries is making the shopping list. I hate it. You have to go and check, oh, do I need that? Do I need this? The best thing is to take a photo, because just like there's a saying where a picture is worth 1,000 words, if you have the photo right there, you know exactly what you need, how much you have of it. Take a photo of your fridge, of your pantry, and you'll know exactly what you need and what you don't need. So this is a way that you're not going to spend effort and money with food that you're just going to go through the bin. Now, another interesting study, especially for those people that think, oh, maybe I should eat less, now I help out with my weight. A study has found that if you reduce the plate size in just 10%, you will actually reduce food waste in 25%, because as we can see to the left side, you're gonna see a plate that looks like you can put way much more in it. You're like, oh no, I'm gonna put more in that's not gonna fill me up. In a smaller plate, you can't put more in it, so you have to eat that first. And this is something very interesting that you can do. For example, I was in holidays now, and I traveled, and I went to a hotel where there is all-you-can-eat buffets, because I love traveling and not have to think about food or money that I have to use on food. This money I can do something else while I'm traveling. So I love restaurants that serve me food. I love hotels that serve me food. And I think I noticed that people will go to the buffet, get a pile of food, and then go to the table, eat not even half of it, and throw it away. And this is something that shouldn't be happening. There's, like my mom, when she used to say to me growing up, there's so many people that need this food that you're throwing away. So this is something that you have control of, even when you're not at your house. So if you reduce the plate size, you will also reduce the amount of food you're putting in your plates. Now, another very interesting thing is called food composting. This, you might think, oh, but I don't have a garden, I can't do that. This, you actually can do it from your kitchen. So basically what you're doing is, because food when it is decomposing, it ends up having methane thrown out to the air. And if you put it to a food composing method, it will get break down, and it's not gonna emit all of these greenhouse gases. So you can look it up on the internet how to do it better, but basically you have your green and your brown. The green are fresh leaves, fresh greens, a rest of pineapple, fruits, all of that stuff. And the brown is like paper, cardboard. So for every 1 hand of the green, you need 2 hands of the brown. And you layer one on top of the other, and you put the brown part on top. And you have to put something that you can cover it with. And a lot of people will think, oh, what about the smell? If you don't put meat, it's not gonna smell. So don't worry. And in the end, if you have a garden, not a garden, if you have like flowers around your house, this is actually really, really good for your flowers. So I really, really do recommend that you try this at home. And all of these tips and many others are in this site where we talk about stop wasting food. This site was created by a Danish woman that she helped the Danish government reduce food waste by 25%. So if you go to this site, Stop Wasting Food, you'll have lots of other tips on how to stop wasting food. So now it's time to vote. Should we recycle more? Should we thrive? Should recycle more? Nermeen, she had the poll up for us. Can you put it up for us, please, Nermeen? So you're gonna vote if you think if we should recycle more.
Host now, dear. I made you the host, so the poll will appear. It's already prepared, so you can launch the poll from your side.
I can. Where?
Yes. Down already within the menu, you are going to find the pool.
I don't know where that is. Is it possible?
If you see at the bottom of the screen, it should say share screen and then something.
Oh, polls.
Polling.
Yes, yes, yes. Lunch polling. Thank you.
It disappeared from my side when I made you the host. It disappeared from my side.
Yes, I found it. All right. Thank you so much. So now, do you think we should recycle more? Yes or no? Let's see. So far, we only have one person voting. Come on, don't be shy. There's no wrong answer here. We're here to learn. 4, I need 2 more people to vote. Should we recycle more? Okay, I'm gonna give 10 more seconds and let's end. Okay, so everybody in this call thinks we should try and recycle more, but this is actually a trick question. We should actually recycle less. Why? Because there are 5 R's, and the last R is recycling. Because recycling is the process where you least can say what's going to happen. The moment where you put that thing in the recycling bin, you cannot say what's going to happen to it. First of all, we don't even know if it's going to be recycled. There are many things that we wish could be recycled, but aren't recyclable, or the city doesn't recycle. And the process of recycling, you don't even know if that product that was recycled can be recyclable after it's a new product. So we should actually strive to recycle less. And how we can do this? First of all, refuse. Think, do I really need this? When, for example, when you are going shopping, do you really need that plastic bag, or can you put it in your backpack? Do you really need this other pair of shoes, or can you already use the ones you have? So you always have to think first, do I really need this? Second, reduce. Do I need this much? Like, for example, if you're in the kitchen and wooden spoons are the thing in the kitchen. Everybody loves wooden spoons, but do you need 4 wooden spoons? Because last time I checked, we only had 2 hands. And if you end up having a lot of something, for example, I see I have too many shoes, maybe you can donate that to somebody, or you can even sell and you can make a little money from it. And reuse. Do I have to throw it away now just because it's a little dirty or doesn't work as well as when you first got it? Do you really need to throw it away now? And if so, maybe somebody else, maybe you can do something else with it. For example, a pot that you got something, a pot that came something in it. Maybe it can be a flower pot, or you can put something in it and it'll be for you to store something away. So you need to think first, do I really need this? Do I need this much? Do I have to throw away now? Can I use this for another purpose? And can this material be used for something else? So recycling should be the last part of your thought. So there is a really good book called The Zero Waste Home. And there's a really interesting site also. And in this site of the Zero Waste Home, you can find this bulk finder. A bulk finder is when they sell things in bulk. So you go there with your jar and you put stuff in the jar instead of getting a new container. So you already have a container that you brought from your house and you buy it and you bring it to your house from there. So in this bulk finder, for example, I looked up Alexandria here in Egypt. I didn't see any store that sells in bulks. So maybe you're an entrepreneur. This is a really good opportunity for you. So this movement started with this lady. Her name is Bia Johnson. And since 2008, her entire family has only 1 jar of waste per year. And wow, it's really, really interesting. You might think, oh no, this person's probably a hippie, doesn't have a good life. And you will be really, really surprised. And you can see her TED Talk. It's really, really good. And I also, another thing, you shouldn't be like, how do you say this? Sad because, oh no, I'm not doing this correctly. I threw away so many things. But right now, if you're watching this, you want to change what you're doing. You want to change your behavior. So that's really, really good. Because there's a thing called behavior intention gap, right? So you really want to do this, but for some reason, you don't do it. So imagine behavior as an iceberg. The top of the iceberg is the behavior. And the bottom where you don't see it are the values and beliefs that comes with why you act this way. So for example, I was now traveling and every single time I forgot to say, I don't need a plastic straw. Thank you so much. Because I don't buy frappes or juice in the streets. I make it in my own house. So I don't have the custom of saying, oh, I don't need a plastic straw, thank you. So it's something that within you need to start working. So afterwards you'll have that behavior. And that goes for also maybe talking to your friends and neighbors or people at school or work. You will talk to them and they're not really gonna get into what you're saying unless you speak to their values and beliefs. So I wanna share a really interesting thing, which is called the slow food movement. This started with a guy that was really, really mad that a McDonald's was gonna open up in somewhere in Italy. And Italians are really proud of their food. And he was really, really mad. So he decided to start the slow food movement because he was fed up with the fast food industry where the payments really low, the food is so bad for your health. And he started making videos and started this movement, which now is a worldwide movement. And a lot of people connected to his story because maybe you want to eat healthy or you want your kids to eat healthy. Or maybe you're a farmer and you're fed up of the big industry getting all of the benefits. So the important is having a story where people connect to it. And that's how their habits will change. And remember, waste is just another resource in the wrong hands. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is really, really engaging, even entertaining, I would say. And despite the fact that you tricked us with the 5 R's in recycling, but that was a good one. Now, I was really, I've seen, the first time I've seen a project about making sure that all your waste fits in a jar. I think it was 10 years ago, and actually she looked like a hippie, I have to say, although far different from what you've shown there. So the main concern that I have is that how can we persuade, because we use these webinars, we will use them for our students in September. So I can connect in terms of climate change. I mean, you know, like I'm drinking my water because I am in a flood where I cannot drink water from the tap. And what I try to do is like I try to reuse this, not just recycle it, but use it a few times before it actually goes. So just, and then we have cyclic economies and so on. But what do you think is the best way to make our students and young generations associate to this? Because as older people, and I put myself as an older person with a 5-year-old daughter, I'm thinking about the planet when she's going to be my age. So I'm a far different person than when I was before. But somebody in their early 20s may fail to create this kind of empathy towards the environment and how to act. So what is the way to actually pass the message? What do you think is the best way?
Yes, so the best way is to make a story where people, you can't say, oh, into 2050, there are going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Great, in 2050, when I'm there, I will deal with it, which I think might be the thought of many people. Maybe a lot of people are not even going to be in this earth anymore. People not, that's so far away. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Yes, this is something very worrying, but you can only connect to the people when they feel that right now their future is in danger. So something that's really, really far away, people don't connect with it because they say, I don't know how the earth is going to be till then. So it's something that they need to connect now. So for example, now here in Alex, I've been seeing a lot of people doing beach cleanup, which I think before didn't happen that much. And I think it's a problem because Alex has wonderful beaches, but they're so dirty. There's trash everywhere. So people starting getting fed up, like, this is my beach, I'm responsible for it. So it has to be something that they can connect to. So it's really important to think about, how can I pass this story in a way that shows them that right now they're affected by it and not in 50 years.
Thank you. And a second question, if I may. I'm pretty sure that Nermin may have another one or so. But in this project, we have 13 different countries. And one of the things, because you talked about the beach cleanup, and actually that was my favorite activity in my 20s and 30s. Now I'm in my late 40s, so I'm getting older. But again, it is very interesting to notice because currently I'm in Athens in Greece, and I see a different attitude between Britain and Greece. And then I see a very different attitude. I've traveled a lot to Egypt and Palestine, for example, to other countries. And it's quite interesting to see that families take pride in certain parts of the world into keeping their garden clean and the front of the house clean and so on. But when they do a day travel at the beach, they may not necessarily have a bag together to get all the rubbish or the food peelings or whatever. So it is very interesting to see that some cultures prioritize the cleanliness and the tidiness of their own space. But when it comes to public space, they kind of mentally think that this is the state's responsibility or somebody else's responsibility, not theirs. And this is a challenge, I think. So do you have any idea of how we can overcome the cultural divide? In other words, I mean, you gave some very good examples of how we can, if you like, make the association with young generation, but what would be the challenge? So how, because in this project we have partners from Nigeria, Kazakhstan, we have Azerbaijan, I mean, you name it, we have so many different countries. And I mean, one of our associates at Middlesex is from Brazil, and we always discuss about also the different cultures. So how can we make sure that we create initiatives that are, we can apply across different cultures?
I think it's very important to consider that, like you said, every culture is different. So the way to talk about everything needs to be appropriate for that culture. And it's also like, for example, in Europe and in the United States and many parts of Brazil also, the environmental aspect, environmental issues are a big problem that are taught in school, for example. So we come up with the environmental education as part of our curriculum. So we already are educated to think about this problem. As if you go to other parts of the world, maybe they think we are too poor to think about this now, or we don't have the money to do this now. We have other problems. We have war, we have famine, we have all of these other problems. But people forget to think that, for example, health is directly involved with the climate. If or with how you're treating your land. If water is dirty, people are going to get sick from that water. If it's too hot, mosquitoes are going to reproduce, and these mosquitoes can transmit diseases. So I think that before thinking about projects, you first have to think about educating, because nobody will want to protect something that they don't understand or they don't know. And also, we live lives in the cities and we totally forgot how the forest is. So how would you want to protect something that you don't feel connected to it? So it's very, very important, environmental education, and from there, getting people involved, and never forgetting that it's the forest, it's the earth that gives us everything, and we need to protect it if we want a future.
Thank you so very much, Mirna. Narmin or anybody else, do we have another question before we wrap it up?
Thank you, Mirna, for the interactive and most engaging presentation that we ever had. What we love about the presentation that we used to share a webinar presentation full of academia, theories, practicals, and so far. But actually, this is a different perspective that you did share today from consumer behavior. I think for sure, Dr. Nizar would agree with me with the same.
I think we can have a new initiative. We can call it, and we can spread it all over the 13 country. I think it will be control our temper to reduce waste initiative. So we will know, you know that there's a lot of people, they are vegan and proud. So what about taking an initiative, and we call it reducing our or controlling our behavior to reduce waste.
Yeah,
and we spread this initiative for all our partners, the 13 partner, and we see.
Yeah, I think for sure it's gonna be beneficial, especially within the developing countries. The culture that we have so far, we are not that adequate with the waste management and how to control that. And for sure, it's gonna be. Yeah, I think this one can be a starting point. Your presentation can be a starting point, as it's a comprehensive, easy to understand from consumer behavior. For sure, you did great already with this.
Thank you.
And we are so proud really to have you today.
Thank you so much. And we also have to remember that we living in different countries, there's also the political situation behind it. Like many countries have, like especially what we call the developed countries, they had many years of exploiting other countries, which allowed them for now to be considered green countries, but they were only able to be developed because they were able to get all of the other resources and other stuff from other countries. So now they are green because they were able to exploit other countries, and only now we in the developing world are feeling the necessity of also doing this, because it's the poor peoples, the poorer countries that are most impacted by climate change. So that's why it's so important to make sure that everybody understands that we need individual actions. Yes, we need this, but it's also very important to work together.
Yeah, for sure, indeed. So we share the same consideration with you, and as long as you live here in Alexandria, already as a part of the coastal city that we have so far, for sure, you can figure out that already the climate change effect so far, it's so obvious, and actually we need to take actions and several actions from consumer perspective, at least, to manage such a change and reduce its impact already to us, for sure. Thank you, Mirna, for it.
You're welcome.
Excellent talk. Thank you so much. And it shows that, Mirna, you should not be stressed. I mean, it's unfortunate we didn't have more people, but it's end of August. We will, of course, invite you for our next events that we will have in September, because we will start also with student competitions and events that with the climax of our project being in November, when we will demonstrate what we've been doing in all 13 countries at COP26. It's really an amazing talk. Thank you so very much. Nermeen, AAUT, you've been an invaluable partner to this project, and thank you so very much for organizing this. A reminder, Nermeen, to send to Ariadne the recordings, please, and a copy of the slides, so we will put them in the arc of our website. Thank you very much again.
Okay.
And the participant list as well. Thank you.
Oh yeah, sorry, Ariadne as well. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.